Welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I'm Terry. This is Jen,
Hello.
and lots been happening this week. So I put 3 topics in the title, but I've also put a whole bunch more in the description. So first up, we've got Leaftubing, which is Leaflit has created basically like a program that creates VTuber models and animations, and
Cool.
so it uses AI to generate them. And so all of the AI haters have been themselves and given her a lot of grief. Um, I think it's a decent starting point. I don't think it's as good as regular VTubing, but
I just real quick for the people who are like, "Oh, you're just stealing art with your AI." I'm just letting you know, AI goes usually to a lot of sites where they just teach you how to draw. Like if you go and look up how to draw anime, there's thousands of them.
of course, yeah. And just quickly, hello to JB and Silver Ravenwing and Tall Person and Blakester and Blue Eyed Scream. All of those people in chat. I should say hello to them. So there you go. And so the next topic is GDQ. So games done quickly. I don't know anything about these idiots except that they made a big hullabaloo. Oh, SNK has Saudi funding, so we're breaking ties and we're not going to play any SNK games. And then Asmongold points out, well, I mean, are you going to break ties with AMD, your biggest sponsor, because they've also got Saudi funding? And they didn't answer that question. Coney is Coney Barrett, who released a video, or like there was a video of her basically saying she's received like threats against her and her family, and people are suggesting that maybe she doesn't have the strength to be a Supreme Court justice if these threats are getting to her. And they've contrasted it with a clip of Clarence Thomas basically saying, I would rather die than withdraw, and basically being, no, the Supreme Court comes first. And people don't like Amy's position, Amy's video, because she does look quite scared in that video.
She's wishy-washy as far as a conservative base Supreme Court. But
yeah,
I just real quick, just to point out to the lady who's not watching this show, Clarence, you can't compare your experience right now with Clarence. You really can't.
No, not at all.
Like if you're complaining about death threats, no, that's not fair. I don't like that people have done that to you. But I would say get in line, because your buddy Clarence has been going through that for what, 40 years? 30 something years?
I mean,
I can't remember when he was put in, but
I've got no idea. But let's put it this way: the clip of him saying that if they kill me, they kill me. He looked considerably younger than he does now, so I can believe it would be 40 years ago.
I think he's been in for such a long time that I just don't know the exact years, but
I've got no idea. But no, I think I understand, like, obviously being a woman, and I mean, let's face it, that's what it comes down to. I understand Amy being scared for her children. That is a completely normal reaction to have, but you can't have that reaction as a Supreme Court justice. So I actually think, she should stand down. She's not able to judge effectively if she's letting, because by releasing that video, she's basically told the terrorists, hey, your plans work, keep doing it. And I think she's compromised. I don't think she can judge effectively.
I think part of the reason she's like this right now too is because she was the side of the conservatives that voted to keep the birth
certificate.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of the death threats she's getting are even sincere, because a lot of the times they're like, I'm getting death threats. It's people being like, you're a fucking idiot. Why would you vote for that? And then all the reasons behind why they think you're an idiot. That's not a death threat.
Yeah. Tall Person has said Clarence Thomas has been a Supreme Court justice for 34 years. So thank you for that.
Okay, so I wasn't too far off.
No, pretty close. but yeah, I understand obviously Amy's concerns for her family, but yeah, I think that does delegitimize her. Um, I think she needs to stand down.
Mm-hmm. Not
And
everybody can do that kind of job. I don't even think
no,
it's a male to female thing. It is
I,
a
I do think sex does play a role. I think men are better suited. I think men have an easier time dealing with that kind of intimidation and pressure. But I mean, I couldn't do it. I'm not saying all men are automatically fit for the job. I'm saying that of the people who could do the job, they're going to be like 90% men.
you're more evolved for it.
Yeah,
Men are capable of making decisions that are oftentimes viewed as being harsh but are necessary.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of women want to be seen as doing the nice thing. So that, like, well, why shouldn't we let them into the country? We've got room. We should share with everyone, which is great if you're dealing with kids because you do need to teach these things to kids. But as government policy, it's catastrophic.
But yes, GB, Supreme Courts can quit. They retire.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, the whole
It's
thing with Ruth Bader Ginsburg was everyone
yeah.
was mad at her for not stepping down because she then died under Trump's leadership, and so he got to replace her. Like everyone was mad at her for not stepping down. And yes, hello to Tier in chat. Hello to Green
Hello, Tier.
Badger.
Hi, Green.
Is there anyone else? I think that's everyone. But yeah, so I do think that's one of those gender differences that I wouldn't go as far as to say no women should be in politics ever, but I think if you look at the nature of men and women,
Well,
the vast majority of positions should be held by men because very, very few women are built to handle that sort of thing.
well, part of the problem with the women's side is they're basing a lot of who they put into positions of power based off of their political positions.
Yeah.
And not necessarily based off of their character. Because I have a whole list of female judges that I respect that are good at doing their job.
Yeah.
But the thing is when you listen to them talk compared to a lot of the judges on the left, there's a clear difference in education or like
Yes.
where they've actually worked, like their lived experience. So the ones I respect are usually more harsh on criminals. Like it doesn't matter what color you are. Are you a criminal?
I'm just going to come out and say it. If you're not harsh on criminals, I have no respect for you at all. I think you need to punish criminals. You can't have a functioning society if you don't. And yeah, you can't be letting off 14-time convicted killers back onto the streets. That doesn't work. That's how Irina Zarutska gets killed. No, that guy should have been in prison for a long time before he ever had the chance to kill Irina. So yeah, I think you definitely need to be harsh on crime.
Mm-hmm.
Laws exist for a reason. If you break them, you deserve to be punished accordingly.
Yeah, I think like don't get me wrong, I do agree with you that men tend to do better in positions of being authoritative because they don't. The only exception to that rule, and sometimes where I have a preference for female judges, is when you're having to deal with thoughts, like women who are thoughts.
Okay.
Because sometimes the men will get suckered in because they take pity on them when they shouldn't. Like that is a thing too, where like sometimes the nature of a man is to, be protective, Sometimes the lady judges cut through that because they're like, no, she's full of shit. Don't let her get away with that.
Well, I mean, that is the weakness of man is their susceptibility to the charms of women. That's like historically always been the case. And also hello to Six in chat. But yeah, like obviously men's weak spot is they do feel protective and like they want to take care of women. And so I think that's why if you look at the justice system, it's so skewed in women's favor.
Mhm.
And that's because women will obviously side with women just out of like group identity, especially like post-feminism.
Mhm.
And men will protect women because that's the nature of men, is to be protective. And so women get lighter sentences, and they're less likely to get arrested in the first place, and all. And that's because there's just a natural instinctive bias from both sexes to be gentler towards women. He says he can pity someone for a rough childhood, but you still killed a dude. Yeah.
Yep.
I think you need to be able to say, this is what you did. This is what the law says the punishment for that crime is. So this is what you have to. This is how we have to punish you.
Basically.
Yeah. And Silver Ravenwing is pointing out that the women judge also don't want to be seen as racist. Yeah, that's another one. And that's another concern. I think you need someone. If you're going to be a judge, you need to be someone who is able to actually be impartial and not be swayed by like sob stories. It's like, oh, but it's okay when I do it because I had a hard time. No, I'm sure you did, but you're going to have an even harder time in jail.
Yeah, it's just kind of how it has to be. Otherwise, people don't really learn from their behavior, or other people watching that now assume that that's okay to do.
The thing is, it doesn't even matter if they learn it from their mistake or not. As long as they're behind bars where they can't actually cause more trouble for the law-abiding citizens, they can be as stupid and not learn their lesson as much as they want in jail, as long as they stay there. If you go around killing people and then we put you in a box and then you still want to go around killing people, okay, but you can only kill people in the box who are also killers that no one's going to miss. It's yes. So the other things on the list that I didn't put in the title, but they happened, and there was just so many. There's the murder of Ann Widdecombe, who is like a conservative politician in England. And
I heard about that.
The government and the media were saying this is not politically motivated, and they actually arrested a white guy, and they said, "Look, see, it was a white guy." Then they quietly released the white guy because he didn't actually do it. And when with regards to who actually did it, well, we'd rather you didn't speculate. It means it was not a white person.
Always, yeah.
There's the death of Lindsey Graham, which I thought, on its own, fairly unremarkable, but it's just that because it happened right after he visited a Ukrainian drone factory, everyone is saying that Russia blew him up and that the government is like pretending he got this mystery illness, and he actually got exploded in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
I don't think he did. I think from what I've seen, the available evidence suggests he did in fact just have like a heart attack or something simple like that. But I thought the speculation was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, I heard a bunch about that one too, and I think it was just health problems.
Yeah, I think the most likely cause I've heard is deep vein thrombosis. You know that thing you get on planes, which makes sense because it was after his plane flight, like his flight, which is like a 12-hour flight or something like that, from Ukraine back to America. So I can believe that there was like a blood clot that formed during that flight because he was not moving enough because he's like 70 years old. And that is a very plausible for me what could have killed him, that it was the deep vein thrombosis from the flight. So
it's one of those things that I don't think the young crowd realizes, is that like reaching your 70s is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that he was necessarily in his 70s. I heard somebody say his age like a week, like when he died.
I think it was like 71 is what I heard.
Something like that. So like, I mean, he wasn't a young guy.
No.
You'd like to think that he's in perfect health, but like when you're that old,
It's unlikely that you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in perfect health and I'm 45. It's like...
It's just how it is. And like, yeah, we do have the capability to live longer. It doesn't mean that we're gonna. Most of us aren't.
No, yeah, a lot of modern medicine has extended our lifespan, but I mean, you still die. And a similar one was Mitch McConnell, where everyone is saying that he's probably dead. I don't know a lot about the circumstances around this one, but everyone on the left is convinced that he's dead, which makes me convinced he's not.
So like I heard about a month and a half ago that he was having heart problems.
Yeah,
like he was in the hospital. Like that. This was a report I got. They were repeating what his wife had said, so I'm not repeating it perfectly, but
right.
He's been in and out of the hospital with heart murmurs. So
okay.
Yet again, given his age and
yeah,
the heart is one of the things that you watch out for when you're that old, because it's a bigger killer than a lot of the other ones. But I haven't heard anything since. But like when my dad had his heart attack, he's still in recovery, and that's been over a year.
Yeah,
it makes sense. You don't recover overnight, and no,
it's a pretty big deal. Heart attack is a pretty big deal.
Like one heart attack usually means you have a lot of other problems. So like right now they're probably going through every single heart tube he has to clear everything out and make sure he's as good. And that doesn't mean he's safe. Like
no, God no. But no, I was just saying, like, because the left is so adamant that he's dead, there's okay, he's alive. That's just my baseline for everything. If the left is convinced of something, then it's probably not true.
To be honest, to the right though, this is one of those times where even if I respected both men, like I don't have a love for either of them. Like I've liked them before in the past and then disagreed with them before. Having so many older people being the people making the decisions for you is still the problem.
That's what Silver Ravenwing was saying in chat. We need to stop hiring 70-plus-year-olds in government. And yes, that is true.
It's not just hiring. They need to stop. Like I get that some of our elder boomers are on we got to keep going, blah, 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 but like it's irresponsible, actually.
Yeah, it is. Blue White Scram. I'm surprised Mitch McConnell is still kicking. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he is. It's obviously under speculation. I've heard claims that he's dead, but they don't want to announce it because of some election consequences. I don't know. But if the left says something, I'm inclined to disbelieve it. So he's probably alive and doing backflips in his backyard, and everything's fine. And the other funny thing that I heard about was the VTuber that curses soccer teams. Have you heard about this ridiculous thing?
No, but I don't blame him. I got so sick of FIFA by like the minute it started, I was like, I'm done with you.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, this was like she's American and she just like decided to support the World Cup, and so she would like redesign her VTuber avatar wearing the jersey of whatever team she was supporting in the World Cup for that particular game. And every time, without fail, whatever team she supported lost the game. It was like 6 times in a row. Any jersey that she put on, that team lost. And to make it even worse, there was one game where I think it was Argentina and Egypt, but like I could be completely wrong. But she went for one team, and then they were losing. At the halftime, she said, "Okay, fine, I'm going to switch teams." The first team made a comeback and won the game directly after she switched jerseys and I thought it was very, very funny. But of course, soccer fans, being the normal people that they are, they sent her death and rape and dox threats because they're saying, like, put on the jersey of this country or I'll fucking kill you and all of the rest of it.
Yeah.
hello to Kivadam, and yeah, Hammer's still not back. Obviously, like he's not here. And yes, he hasn't been on X in a month. Call it Twitter. It's Twitter. But no, he's not been very active in DMs either. So I'm not sure what's happening with Hammer. Hopefully, he's doing well. But yeah, so the VTuber, her name's Essie, and she's like a sheep. But she got all these like nasty messages threatening to do all sorts of horrible things to her, just because they genuinely believe she was influencing the results of these soccer matches. And no, I don't have his phone number, Keith.
Yeah, it's all internet talk, but I figure he's probably in and out of the hospital like he's been for the last
That
6
would
months.
that would make sense. I mean, that's generally the reason that he hasn't been able to be here is health reasons.
He hasn't quit though. We're just in the mindset of just letting him recover and do what he needs to do.
Yeah,
And he watches. I think he still watches the show.
Yeah, I asked a couple of weeks ago how he was. He hasn't got back to me yet. So I mean, hopefully he's fine. But Hammer being Hammer, who knows? He's had a lot of health concerns, and
I know that he does.
I'm not aware of them, the recent ones.
If things got really, really bad, I'm sure that he would try to at least let us know.
Yeah,
but
if not him, then someone in his family would probably make a post on his account saying, the worst has happened, or explaining the situation. I'm inclined to think that he's recovering. He's said before that Wednesday is his worst day in terms of dialysis, so that's a big reason of why he hasn't been able to come on stream. So I don't know. Hopefully he's doing well. I don't have any information to share. I'm afraid.
Yeah, as soon as we get him on a day where he's doing a little bit better, we'll try and get him to do a visit and.
Oh, for sure.
Like, how you doing? Updates,
Yeah. But as has always been the case, he's always more than welcome to join anytime he feels able to do so.
And I agree with Silver Rain. He's fine. He's just hitting on all the nurses, male or female.
Probably. Okay. Oh, and the other one I mentioned was the glorious return of Hoe Math. This isn't really a thing, but Hoe Math got banned off Twitter for 3 months, I think it was. And he came back and he was like pissed off. And his tweet was basically calling Elon Musk all sorts of nasty things. So let's see if I can find it. It was a very funny tweet. Here it is. So Elon had a tweet saying, "I have wised up." And so Hoe Math's reply is, "Elon, I was so glad to hear about how wise you've become during my 90-day ban, given by the army of trash-swimming, shit-eating foreign enemies that you recently imported to help eliminate white Americans through economic starvation. I'm sure that you become wise enough to send them all back home, yes? Seeing that they're takers and not makers, seeing that they create nothing and only transform white institutions into Indian ethnic scams, extracting all the wealth and sending it straight into the Ganges, right? Because last time I heard you mention them in any capacity, you told us all to fuck our own faces if we didn't like being blotted out by millions of chittering low IQ stench goblins so you could save 10% on labor. Not really. Scamming isn't labor. Not so wise. Glad to hear you've changed. We are all looking forward to seeing some evidence of your wisdom in the form of removing all these little mum darnies from your various businesses and sending them back to the shit pits they came from and belong in. Love, Hoe Math."
There is some truth to that if that's what he's doing. Like, you can't sit there and be like, I'm anti the rape gangs in England and then just import a bunch of people.
Yeah. But I just thought that was Hoe Math at his finest. There's a reason I follow this guy. But yeah, I think he's the guy who did the not people picture that you've probably seen all over Twitter, where it's like the men who are less than an 8 out of 10 are just not people to the opposite sex. So yeah, that was all the topics I came up with, and the leaflet thing. I think it's funny because Leaflet's basically saying people are getting too excited about it. Like, because she created it as basically an entry point. The whole point is you don't have the money or the time to deal with artists who are, obnoxious and unreliable. So you use her thing to get like an entry level model just to get started. And then once you've got some success and some money, then you can upgrade to a proper model and you don't have to be rich and pay thousands of dollars to some artist to get just to start. You can use her thing and it basically lowers the barrier to entry to basically nothing. And I think that's really good. And I think it's funny. Mizuki is way overhyped for it. She's like, Mizuki thinks this is like as good as like regular VTubers. It's like, no, no, it's not.
No, but it is a nice thing to start with because
yeah,
it's one thing to be the art, because that's the starting hill for a lot of people, but it's also the tech involved with how you get the movements with the art.
Yeah,
like there's a lot that goes into that, and you could be good at one and be bad at the other and still end up needing some help with it, and that gets frustrating. So at least if you can have a starting point where you can get your feet on the road, like people will eventually come and help you. Like I've seen people with VTubers get help.
Yeah, well, put it this way: when Eve invited me onto Minions for the first time, if she said, "Oh, by the way, you need to spend a few $1,000s to get an artist to do an avatar for you and an expensive rigging program, and you need to hire some," like I mean, like, you know what? I don't need to be on Minions. I appreciate the gesture, but no, thank you. So the fact that Leaflit is basically saying anyone can be a VTuber if they want to, I think that's an excellent thing. And I even like she is refusing to take any money. Like it's completely free. And the reason is to make the left look even more retarded than they usually do when they try and call her a grifter. It's like, grifting with a free product that I make no money from? Are you sure?
Well, that's kind of the left anyway. Anybody who's actually getting donations, they're a grifter.
Yeah, basically. And so just to quickly, Blue Eyed Scream was saying they're hypocrites when it comes to the H1Bs. Of course they are. I mean, Elon Musk is not going to give up his cheap labor. He's happy to say that, the Indians are a problem, but not my Indians. Those ones we have to keep. And Badger says Leaflet doing good things. Yeah, she is. I have a lot of respect for Leaflet. I think I don't know how she has time to sleep. She is managing so many different things. She's running her tabletop board game. She's VTubing, obviously. She's created this thing. She does all the AI music. She's a very busy lady. I don't know how she does it all. And yes, Badger says the cope has been very amusing. Yeah. And my favorite thing, or one of my favorite things, is all she has to do is mention Neurosama, and all of the AI haters are like twisting themselves into knots to justify why. Well, Neurosama is actually not evil, but every other instance of AI ever is. And no, I can't explain why.
Mm-hmm.
It cracks me up. But yeah,
I think they're mad because they didn't come up with it first.
No, I think they're mad because it's putting them out of business.
That too.
Like if you're an artist and you are used to selling your art for $1,000, and then someone says, you can just use this thing to make art for free. They're like, well, if people make their art for free, they're not going to give me thousands of dollars to do art anymore. That means the AI is evil because it's putting me out of work. In the same way that I am sure you had plenty of horse breeders and the like very upset when cars were introduced, or when painters probably protested cameras a great deal. No one likes having their industry made obsolete, and this is basically what's happening. If your art is not of a high enough level where people are willing to pay your prices just to have your art, then yeah, you're going to go out of business. Yeah, so it's fine.
If those are the prices that they're charging for it then yeah, they deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. And there was one guy who said he slashed his prices because of Leaflet. Like, he said it in an angry way. He's like, as much as I hate Leaflet, I've been forced to only charge $30 for my art. And like, Leaflet said, good, but then on her stream, she's like, I really wish I'd had the foresight to say, damn it, you doing this really pisses me off. Then, like, to try and trick every other artist into slashing their prices to also piss her off. But she didn't think of it. She spilled the beans that she's actually thrilled that artists are slashing their prices.
Which yeah.
Oh, and yes, Badger is right. It's a combination of being put out of business and the fact that a chud is making it happen. That's salt in the wound, yes.
Yeah, no, I think my judgment of them is because my aunt has been a valid artist for a majority of her life. That doesn't mean she doesn't have another job, because to be an artist in the real world means that you are broke. Because you're like, if you're really into art, then you're spending most of your money on the materials.
But also, it's by its nature a very unreliable profession. Like, you can be hugely successful and then hugely not in the blink of an eye. It's anything that is built on public approval. Like, the same thing happens with actors. The same thing happens with all sorts of people in the arts. It's an incredibly unreliable occupation. Like, Asmongold could lose his entire audience tomorrow. It's unlikely to happen, but if it could happen, and so you have to make allowances for, if this is going to be your job, it could disappear tomorrow, and you have to, prepare for such things.
And that's always been the art world, because art is still it's something that you buy that's kind of extra. Like, you don't really need pictures on your walls to survive. No. They make it look nice.
Yeah.
But you don't really need them to survive. So it's not really a practical buy.
No, so by its nature, it's a luxury.
Yeah, so by its nature, it's a different sell too.
Yeah. Like, I'm never going to pay an artist. Like, Kefki was kind enough to do this zombie foot for free, but I mean, I was perfectly content using the free Monty Python foot that I found on the internet. Never in a million years would I have thought to ask anyone, can you draw a nice zombie foot for me? It was like, never would have occurred to me. I would have just kept using the free one taken from the Italian painting, and I'd still be using it today if Kefki hadn't kindly donated the art to me.
In fact, I'm going to read what Tier wrote. A lot of historical artists, I would say majority of them, didn't ever know that their art would go to fame. I would say majority of them didn't know, because they were, they absolutely risked issues with the church. If you're in art, during the time where most of our art masters came from, their argument a lot of the time was with the church, because painting even back then was still kind of like, photography, in that they think you're stealing a stole.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, they made that joke on The Simpsons, where Lisa went, either Bart or Lisa went to buy Bleeding Gums Murphy's last album, and he's it's just a shame because he died and I wanted to own it, and so the comic book guy just writes a 0 at the end of the price tag. It went from like 200 to 2,000. Oh, he's dead. Okay, yeah, put a 0 at the end.
Yep. Yeah, Van Gogh died in poverty.
Yeah, I mean, it's common. I think art is not a very stable occupation, and I would even include streaming. It's like, obviously this isn't a job for me because I'm quite deliberately not making any money, but like the people that stream for a living, they could lose their popularity in the blink of an eye. Like what if you get banned off YouTube for, or what if you get banned off Twitch for calling Frogan fat? That can completely destroy your momentum. Or what if you're making a video on Legos and you get a court order preventing you from releasing any more content? That can halt your momentum. And obviously Tectone and Reckless Ben survived these impositions, but the point is that they could have been the end of their career. They very easily could have been.
Yep. Yeah, streaming is a hobby. It is. And in all honesty, I think the people that get bitter at other people for succeeding with it, most of the people that end up popular were just recording their hobby.
Yeah. I've said many times, I straight up refuse to make any money. Like, not that anyone's trying to give me money, but like the one time someone did was Gutenberg, who wanted to give me $50. And I'm like, nope, there is deliberately no way for you to give me that $50. I refuse to take even a single cent, because as soon as it becomes a job, then it becomes an obligation. And I don't want to be forced to do this.
And that's a name I haven't heard in a long time, Gutenberg. I'm like, is he... I'm not going to say it, but I was like, are you going to die from like liver damage? Because he was always drunk.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't spoken to or heard about Gutenberg in years, but
I'm not saying that with harshness, by the way.
No. But he did offer me $50. I don't remember why, but it's like do you have a Streamlabs kind of thing? I can give you $50. Like, no, I quite deliberately do not. Yeah, I think I upset Mizuki when I explained my position. It's like, because she's like, no, I disagree entirely. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously you disagree. You made streaming your job, but I'm just saying, for me, I don't want to make it my job.
It's also it's not a good job. I'll be real. Like people who were doing well can still instantly have their stuff destroyed. Like Nux is an example of that.
Yeah.
Like he's still making some money off his Patreon, but like just simply because he's I think it's his son fans who went after him. But
just to address something in chat, JB says, except Steam, what if someone gifted me a game? It would depend on the person and the game. If Jack Gunsky gives me a $5 point-and-click adventure game, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to turn that down. If someone I don't know says, I really like your stream, here's a $100 AAA title, I'd say, I appreciate the gesture, but I can't accept. So yeah, I've accepted games from friends. I've bought games for friends. That's all like normal. That's not really... I don't think of that as being paid to stream because they're my friends. But yeah, if someone was like a huge fan of this stream and said like, you know what, I'm going to buy that man a video game, I would thank them, but I would decline it. Johnny Hellcat says, so Terry can stream mixtape. I could. I'm not going to. I would not be concerned about the stream being demonetized for all the copyright music, but no, I have zero interest in playing that game. I watched Asmund play it. That was enough.
Yep. I watched a black guy named Atreus play it and realized after I told him, you can end this earlier by just letting her roll into traffic, right?
Yeah.
You're going down the hill anyways. Oops.
JB says he'd pay for me to react to Gangster Rap. There'd not be much of a reaction. I would just say this is garbage and stop listening to it. Tia says mixtape isn't a game, it's a shitty movie with gameplay elements. Yeah, but by that logic, you could say lots of things aren't games. Like Life is Strange, by that metric, isn't a game.
Can I tell you something funny though, Tier? For every black guy that I know who played that game, when they got to the slushy scene, because everybody gets to the slushy scene, it was grape and lime. Like, you guys just have an obsession with grape drinking, even in slushy mode.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I think there's obviously not a lot of gameplay there, but I mean,
I wouldn't, because of the tonguing scene. Like, I saw that and I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
I've seen alien butthole scenes from some of the games that Satsu plays that were less vile than that.
Tia says Life is Strange has a failstate. I don't think it does. Like, because you've got the rewind, you can literally recover from anything that happens. Like, there is no failstate because you've always got the rewind button. As far as I'm aware, it is impossible to get a you lose situation in Life is Strange. You can always, like, in the same way that if you get hit by a car in Mixtape, the game automatically rewinds and lets you try again. You can just hit the rewind button in Life is Strange and you won't die. Max can die in that game. Yeah, but are you considering the ending where she dies to be a fail state, or are you just saying that the game has a bad ending? Because yeah, I mean, I think Life is Strange and Mixtape are roughly equal in terms of gameplay, because all you're really doing is you're walking to the next hotspot and interacting with it. If you consider that not to be a game, fair enough. But I think by technically it does count. No, she can die and trigger a game over. I don't think that's true. I am not, because I played Life is Strange, and I don't recall any deaths that you couldn't rewind from. Like, there's the ending where she leaves with Chloe, and then there's the ending where Chloe dies. I don't think there's an ending where Max dies and you can't immediately rewind it. If I'm wrong, let me know. But from memory, every single death in that game, you can rewind. She can be killed by the professor and game over, but can't you just rewind? That's my point. Can't you just rewind? Yes, the professor can kill you, but why can't you just rewind? So yeah, because I obviously my memory, I haven't played Life is Strange in a long time. Let me have a look, see when I last played it. Life is Strange, last played 10 years ago. So yes, I could be misremembering. I'm happy to nope, not in that section. If I'm not, well, see, I think you are mistaken. That's the whole disagreement here. But yeah, I am from memory, because if they let you die in that scene, then you would not buy the next episode. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna let Max die in the middle of the game and not have you able to rewind it, because how many people would be willing to start over a game that has no variation on repeat play? No, you might be right. I'm not going to say 100% that you're wrong, but it makes no sense that they would eliminate that many potential sales just by allowing you to die in the middle of the game. Now, Johnny Hellcat, I agree with. He says you can call it a game, but I wouldn't come close to calling it an adventure game. Yes, it is not an adventure game, because it's just not. It's more like a visual novel with extra steps. I think it's a one step above a visual novel. So in terms of gameplay, that's where I would put it. Silver Raven says, I'd rather play the fighting game with Michael Jackson. I didn't know there was a fighting game with Michael Jackson. That sounds hilarious. If you can find the name of that game, let me know, and I'll see if it's on Fightcade, because I kind of want to play it now. Tia says visual novels can have interactive gameplay elements. I kind of disagree. I think like once you like people would say that Ace Attorney counts as a visual novel. I don't think it does. I think there's too much gameplay in something like Ace Attorney to purely classify it as a visual novel. I think I think if it's got any gameplay at all, it is one step above a visual novel. If it's got no gameplay at all, then it's a visual novel. If it's got no choices at all, then it's one of those annoying. I forget what they're called. There's like a special term for those kinds of visual novels where there's like not even, you don't even make any decisions. It's literally just you read a story.
Those should be classified as games.
Yeah. Like at that point, it's not even a visual novel, really. Like, I guess like technically it is because it's a picture book. It's like this visuals and it's a novel. But in my understanding of what a visual novel is, you need to be interacting with the game besides hitting the button to display the next line of text.
Yeah.
That just says I think it's called Moonwalker. Moonwalker wasn't a fighting game. I'm aware of the Moonwalker video game, but that was more like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. I don't think it was a fighting game. Oh yeah, which is what he says immediately after. Yeah. I'm aware of Moonwalker, but I don't think that's what he was talking about. Silver Ravenwing says, I think it's called Dead as Disco. I will look that up right now because I am interested. Dead as Disco. $36.90. That's a lot of money. Martial arts meets music video in Dead as Disco, a neon-drenched beat-em-up. It's not a fighting game, it's a beat-em-up. Where every punch, kick, and combo syncs to the music. Join Charlie Disco on a quest to confront the villainous idols and reunite the band. Okay. I'd have to see gameplay because it kind of looks like a fighting game in the screenshots. So maybe it is a fighting game. Maybe the people who made it don't know what a fighting game is and got it mixed up. No. It is a beat 'em up. Okay, there's multiple enemies on the screen. Okay, yeah. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up sort of thing. Okay, yeah, okay. It still looks cool, but yeah, it's not a fighting game. But yeah, it still goes on the wish list. But it's not it's not a fighting game, but it still looks cool.
That's funny.
Because that's one of the things that I always get in trouble on Twitter. Because I will say there's things that for some reason people insist are fighting games like Smash Brothers, and I say no, they're not fighting games. they're games that contain fighting, yes, but fighting game has a very specific definition. And basically, if you can turn your character to face the other way, if you're facing the opponent and you push backwards on the controller, if you turn around, it's not a fighting game.
Well, if all you need to be a fighting game is to have fights, then Pal World is also a fighting game. It's not.
That's my point. That's exactly my point. Smash Brothers is not a fighting game. Stuff like Power Stone is not a fighting game. They're combat oriented, sure. They have fighting in them, but they're not fighting games.
That's like calling Final Fantasy any of the Final Fantasies a fighting game. Like, yes, there's fighting involved, but it's not.
But it's also the equivalent of calling Super Mario Brothers an RPG because you play the role of Mario. Like, that's not what RPG means. That's not what a fighting game is. Like, sure, if you broaden, like, if you take the genre title hyper literally, then I guess you could make the argument. But for all intents and purposes, it is not those things. Power Stone is RPG fighting game hybrid. It's not a fighting game at all. It's Power Stone is like an arena fighter, but it's not a fighting game. In the same way that Smash Brothers is a platform fighter, but it's not a fighting game. JB says Killer Instinct, Clay Fighter, Tekken, Dead or Alive, Soul Calibur. Those are all fighting games. Though Devil May Cry isn't a beat 'em up, it's a hack and slash game. Yeah, I mean, you can make that distinction. I don't know enough about this series. I'm not a Devil May Cry fan. Johnny Hellcat, I agree 100%. Make Final Fantasy turn-based again. Cryptic says fight him. I would. I don't think I have a way to fight you, but yeah, if you want to join Adam's stream, or if there's a way we can play each other on Fightcade, or if there's a game you want to play on Steam that we both own, I'm happy to play against you. I fully expect you will kick my ass because the kind of person who calls out people from chat is probably very, very good. But yeah, I'd happily play against you. Tia says I'm splitting hairs. No, I'm not. I'm defining terms. If you're going to say that Power Stone is a fighting game, I'm going to say Mario is an RPG. Because if you take it that literally, then sure. But by the convention of what those terms mean, no, it's not. Cryptic says he's also a fan of fighting games. Yes, I know you are a fan of fighting games because I've seen you in the chat for Adam's stream. If you get a chance to join, I'm happy to play you. But as I said, I'm going into this fully expecting to get my ass kicked because someone who's confident enough to call people out from chat is probably very good. JB, fighting game to me is very specific. Two people, one ring. Yeah. I would even go further than that. I would say you have to be locked into facing each other. Like you can't if you move into the foreground or background, the camera has to shift so that you are once again locked on a 2D plane. So Tekken and Soul Calibur, you can move into the foreground and background because they're 3D fighting games. But once you do that, the camera then moves so that you're once again aligned. So I would say that something like Power Stone, where you can face the opposite direction to your opponent, not a fighting game. Johnny says, I would invite Terry to play Mecha Chameleon, but it involves something close enough to drawing. I have no idea what that game is, but I heard Leaflit say that she's going to call herself an artist because she won 2 rounds of Mecha Chameleon. So, yeah, it does sound like a drawing game.
Well, if you have to draw in it, it's a drawing game.
Tia says you don't like 3D fighting games because Soul Calibur is a fighting game where you can turn it. Yeah, I'm talking about the standard movement. So I'm not counting stuff like a stance where you face, like you enter a specific stance and but if your natural movement around the arena involves you not facing the opponent, that's not a fighting game. Oh, Johnny Hellcat says you have to paint yourself to match the environment. Yeah, I would hate that. Soul Calibur 4 is the best game in the series. Fight me. No, because that's the one that has Yoda and Darth Vader in it, so it's automatically the worst. Like I don't. Without Darth Vader, Yoda, and Starkiller, you might have an argument, but no. With those characters in it, it's the worst.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I kind of do, like inserting Star Wars characters into Fortnite. Yeah, that kind of I understood that those are skins and stuff, but when they clash, they clash.
Yeah, no, I think like I'm opposed to guest characters automatically, but some are worse than others, and Darth Vader and Yoda have absolutely no place in Soul Calibur. Like I can let something like Biken in Soul Calibur slide because if you didn't know that Biken was from Guilty Gear, you would have no idea that she wasn't meant to be part of the Samurai Showdown cast because she's a samurai. She kind of makes perfect sense to be in that game. But if you want to put something like what's another really egregious example? I don't know. I think something like RoboCop doesn't belong in Mortal Kombat.
I'm gonna be real. For Kingdom Hearts, the minute they put Cloud and Sephiroth in it, it killed it because there's such particular characters in their own franchise that they end up taking over the whole fucking thing.
And sorry, Tira's saying the same can be said about rival schools. Depends what you're saying can be said about rival schools. Because from my memory of rival schools, if you do a move that moves you into the foreground or background, the camera absolutely does rotate to realign you. And if you hold back on the controller, you walk backwards and block. You don't turn around. So maybe I'm misremembering. I'm not a particular fan of rival schools, but I mean, if I'm wrong, then sure, rival schools wouldn't count as a fighting game. If it doesn't meet my criteria, I'm happy to say it's not a fighting game. I don't know what to tell you. From my recollection of the game, it fits, but if I've misremembered, then sure, cross it off the list.
Ooh, they're coming to get you, Terry.
Yeah, I mean, I always upset people when I have this opinion.
They're going to take you to the funny farm.
Let them. Silver Raven says, like Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, the Predator, Michael Myers, Peacemaker, Homelander, being put in Mortal Kombat got old. Yeah. None of those characters should be in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, and then I can see, I'm just responding to what Silver Raven wrote, but I can see what they did to Fable.
Oh, yeah. There's another one that got ruined.
I mean, it hasn't been released yet, so maybe somebody there will be like, let's not go this route again. We like our jobs and not getting laid off because we didn't make any money.
And Johnny says Fatal Fury had the two level fight stage. Yeah, and I didn't like it. I don't think it's enough to make it not a fighting game, because I mean, I haven't played Fatal Fury in like 20 years, but my memory was that it was not you couldn't spend forever on unaligned planes. The only reason to go into the foreground or background was as the setup to either dodge an attack briefly and then counterattack, or there might have been like some attacks that you did from the foreground or the background. But I don't think you could have the entire match where you were completely misaligned, and if you attacked, you automatically returned to the same plane as the opponent.
Yep.
But it is a fighting game by every other metric. You just don't like Power Stone. No, I don't consider it. It's not a fighting game by any definition. It's not just that you can turn around. It's 4 players for one thing, right? That 4 plays instantly eliminates it from being a fighting game. Fighting game is 1v1. So no, you're right that I don't like Power Stone, but it is not a fighting game for multiple reasons. The walking backwards one is just the one that neatly eliminates all of the not fighting games. There's plenty of reasons why Power Stone is not a fighting game. Angry Illinoisan says, evening everyone, I'm coming out of work to say hi. Well, hello. Tia says, Thrill Kill was a 4-player fighting game. No, it wasn't. There's no such thing. With very similar mechanics to Power Stone. Then it's not a fighting game. I don't know how much clearer I can make this. If it's 4 players and it plays like Power Stone, it is not a fighting game. JP is going to bed, and actually we're kind of running up on the end of the stream anyway. So
yeah, we got 2 minutes left. I'm like, I got nothing to say on this one. Fighting games.
Yeah.
I haven't really done fighting games since like, I don't even know, because it was usually Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. You know,
those are the 2 big ones. Yeah. Tekken is also pretty big, but those would probably be the main 3. Would be Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken.
Well, those are the ones I'm most familiar with, because if you start off with your life starting in the 80s, those are the ones you kind of start off with in the first place.
Anyone who's not interested in fighting games, those are the ones that they're generally familiar with.
I didn't hate them. I just I prefer the original games because I like trying to unlock the special moves.
Yeah.
I think in the new ones they basically spell it out in a way where I'm like, that's not as clever as having to force me to figure it out.
I think a lot of people get put off fighting games because of like the quarter circle motions, and a lot of people don't find them intuitive. But I mean, if you're interested in the genre, you practice them and you get able to do them. And Silver Raven says, yeah, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken are the holy trinity of fighting games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the three that most people who aren't fighting game fans would still be aware of.
But that's usually the fighting style that I look at too when it is something that looks like it's going to be a fighting game. It's always a ring of some sort. Like, I'm not saying it's a fighting ring, but it's designed to look like, okay, this is a center square. This is where their ring is going to be. They're usually surrounded by a crowd, because this is supposed to be a competition. And I think that's the thing. If it's not in a competition, it's a different fighting style. Like, that's a different thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I mean, people can say I'm being too nitpicky or too particular or whatever, but no, I think genres have definitions, and Power Stone, and if Thrill Kill is anything like Power Stone, also that, and Smash Brothers are not fighting games. They're possibly still good games. Like, I like Smash Brothers, but it's not a fighting game. In the same way that Mario is not an RPG.
Yeah.
But we have actually hit the time limit, so
yep.
I will thank everyone for coming except Tier, because he's black. And you don't like talking to those people. All right. I'll say goodbye to Tier as well. So thank you everyone in chat for coming and joining. Thank you, Jen, for keeping me company.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't as good about the convo. There's just some games where I don't know as much. Like, I know them, but I didn't.
No, that's absolutely fine. Yes. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Have a good one, guys.